the drop. It is season 3. I am Ruben Dominguez. This is Quinn Bishop. We are. And we have a new graphics package too that we're very excited about. Are you all right?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
Quinn Bishop, prepared for
Cactus
this
music
into season
Cactus
3
Music World Headquarters. Yeah, no expense spared. You know, the team worked
solid
for days,
brilliant.
hours. All right, guys. So it's all about new music, new vinyl. Let's get right to it. You got the list?
I got the list.
Hit it.
Let's kick it off, man. We're going to talk about the 1975.
Great band.
This is their 5th album, and
quietly releasing their 5th album.
Quietly releasing their 5th album. And, this band is huge. If you have not caught up to them, the Enemy named them the band of the decade, which said there's some, that's an accolade right there. Hugely popular. I would say that, traditionally their music has been kind of almost, synth friendly, a little, dancey,
poppy.
I love the first single on this record is kind of a quieter acoustic, almost like a classic rock track with real tasty, some lead guitar in there.
Right.
Great singer. They kind of keep it dark as well, but this record is gonna be huge. We did an event with them, and it was, I think we were the last public appearance that they ever did for signing, because we had like 1,000 people.
Oh,
it was out of control.
That's crazy.
And the whole time they're doing it, they're signing something like, I'm going to do this.
Right.
When is it going to end?
Right.
So,
what did we sign up for?
They're great, and they're very, very ardent fan base that are very excited.
Well, speaking of signings, coming up a little later in the show, this man right here, Marcus Mumford, was here and was kind enough to give us a few minutes, and we're going to play that interview for you a little later in the show.
Right on, because that's the way to launch season 3.
That's the way to launch season 3 with just a marquee interview.
We have a brand new album from the Black Lips, Apocalypse Love. They're on a new label, Fire. This is their 10th album. I love this band.
I do too.
I love them. And they got kind of thrown in the punk rock bucket. And yeah, that's true too. But
a little bit.
I love all the spaghetti western, 60s cinematic soundtrack, sounding guitars. Guitar work is super great. I mean, they always have. Some tracks will sound kind of country, some will be kind of spacier, but I love their records, and it's cool to have a new one from them. It's
a really good looking record. So in case you were wondering, limited edition transparent violet vinyl.
Oh, there you go.
Foil embossed sleeve. And you do get the quality download with it. So
there you go. And if you need some noisy, energetic, punky pop,
these are your dudes.
Go pick it up, man.
These are your guys.
They are cool.
There you go. I love it.
This is going to be a staff favorite. This is the Firestarter soundtrack.
Yes, sir.
And this is notable because John Carpenter. This is the reboot of obviously the Stephen King. And you can't see this, but the eyes are die cut. So I'm guessing you pull the inner sleeve out and there's fire. Oh, good sleeve face, my friend. Good sleeve face. This is notable because the soundtrack team that does all the dark wave synthy music for all the Halloween soundtrack, this is the first time that music's, they work together on a thing outside of the flame on the back too. Outside of the Halloween series. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Good record for Halloween. Let's put it on.
I think so. Yeah. All those soundtracks are great. John Carpenter's his whole synthy, dark, wavy, creepy. You think about like The Fog and all that stuff.
For sure.
The music is as great as the film.
He
can
have
a new one.
He can be moody with the best of them. It's on colored vinyl, guys.
That he can.
Yeah.
Okay, next 2 artists. I love it when we can do this. We can tie together a couple of artists. This is a brand new album from Bill Callahan, and when I hold it up there, it's called, the name of the album, it listed everywhere is I can't say it, but when you hold it up there, it's Reality. Reality backwards, and there's a painting of a bird on the cover. For those not in the know, he was the lead singer of Smog, very smoky, downbeat, very slow, folky, really kind of the elder statesman now of indie folk, and usually some dark subject matter going on there. But there's some humor in there too. He's a great singer-songwriter.
Love it.
again, very, very loyal fan base. And he's been prolific of late. He's been releasing quite a few
I want
records.
to check this one out.
And I'm going to tie that again because forever, as long as I've heard Bill Callahan, I've always thought of this guy,
Leonard Cohen. Yeah,
Leonard Cohen. And, there hasn't been, you see artists repackage greatest hits or,
all the time.
they haven't really done that with him in decades. So this is a career spanning greatest hits record. And you find people all the time discovering his music, usually through other
artists that covered it. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
It's kind of like the Dylan thing where the guy that's got the craggy, unusual voice that's the writer, everybody hears goes, man, that's an awesome song. I can probably do that. And you got Tower of Song on there, of course, Hallelujah.
Oh, includes unreleased live from Glastonbury. That's cool.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and interesting thing about him, he had to go on the road because he went and lived as a Buddhist monk for several years, and in the meantime, his manager stole all his money, so he had to go. He had to go back to work. And,
that I didn't know.
And found his bonus round, his
second
act, great second act was as a performer and a troubadour.
Love it.
So and
That's
then also to tie in with that, there's a brand new tribute to Leonard Cohen called "Here It Is" on the Blue Note label, and this is produced by Larry. I'm spacing on Larry's name. Great bass player. He produced all the tracks. Nora Jones, James Taylor, Iggy Pop, Nathaniel Ratliff, Sarah McLachlan, who you don't really hear that much from these days. This is a very cool. I spent some time with it this morning. The track that blew me away was the Iggy Pop track. I never realized how
he does "You Want It Darker."
Yeah, which is one of the greatest tracks from Lenny's
later
work.
That feels like it fits.
It does.
It fits him pretty
and
good.
The other track that's going to surprise people on there, the James Taylor track, it's him singing in a lower register and not his kind of sweet upper register that you always associate with him. It's really cool.
He does "Coming Back to You."
Yeah, and a lot of times with these tribute albums, it's artists mailing in their versions of songs, so it's not very cohesive. This is very cohesive and kind of a, across the board.
There you go. That's a good one.
Thread running through it. It's good.
Love it.
Very rewarding and a great way to jump in there and find out about his music if you're not familiar. One of my other favorite things to talk about on the drop are bands that I love that people don't really know about.
Exactly.
And
like me.
This is Dunyan. And Dunyan is probably, I don't know, the most important Swedish psychedelic band ever.
There you go.
I mean, there's been one or two, but I'd say neo-psych elements of jazz. They've been around, I don't know, probably 15 years. They had a couple of records that, were my favorite records of the years they came out. And really, what I wanted to say about this record is, if you love Tame Impala, you got to check out Dunyan.
There you go. That's high praise, right?
They were way ahead of that, and super tuneful, melodic, but also improvisational. Again, flying in elements of jazz and hard psych. Great band.
You're going to get the indie. It says here, Indie's only Burgundy vinyl edition.
Nice.
Does love a good Burgundy.
Have a glass of wine to go with you.
Now I'm thirsty. Now I'm thirsty. I cannot pronounce one song.
I know I did. I'm not going to read the
lots
title.
of umlauts.
Forget about it. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's talk about a band on the rise. Always. This band is killing it.
Yes.
What I like about
heavy play on Sirius XM.
Yeah, and rightfully so. This band, they were a lot like Beach Bunny, who we've been talking about. It's really a throwback to that 90s alternative, straight ahead, power poppy, great songs, punchy vocals. It's no wonder why this band is connecting with people in a big way. And I single Tom Verlaine.
Are they from the U.S.? Oh, Pharmacist. Yes, great
Pharmacist,
song.
Great song. You know what? I don't really even know. But a breakthrough act, great singer. Super fun. I'm all about them.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to go really far.
Love it.
All right, let's bring the heaviness. Brand new album from Lamb of God.
Randy Blythe and company.
They always have great artwork.
Still killing. Yeah, and you know exactly what you're going to get. It's a Lamb of God album. This was featuring Omens, Nevermore, and Ditch. In the midst of a tour right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There's a great quote about this record where Blythe says, "This is about the state of the world. It's a very pissed off record."
Unlike their other very pissed off records.
records.
So, if you've never heard Randy talk, there's some great interviews with him. Super smart guy.
Super smart.
And it's funny because he's now become one of those voices that so many other bands imitate.
Yeah.
It's like you'll hear it. It's like, that's not Lamb. Oh, it's inspired by Lamb of God, obviously.
We did a signing with them that was awesome. And I was like, what the heck are they doing behind the store? And they sent their tour manager out to go buy a barbecue grill. And they were like barbecuing they were trying to set up a barbecue grill behind the store while they were signing autographs.
You can't be in a touring thrash band without protein.
Welcome to Texas. Welcome to Texas,
before.
everybody.
I'm barbecued by many a tour bus, as a matter of fact.
No doubt. Okay. There's the second, the much talked about when the first one was released, the second Red Hot Chili Peppers album of the year is about to come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out tomorrow, and it's called Return of the Dream Canteen. And much like we did the last one, we have autographed copies for sale. It's hard to see the signatures on there, silver and black, but there's Flea in the upper left.
Come on, Chili Pepper fans.
Yeah. I thought the single was really great on this. I find in these situations where bands usually have enough material for 2 records, the second album's usually a little stronger than the first one.
Right.
And that might be the case here. Not too sure, but if you're a fan of this band, I think they're giving the people what they want, and 2 albums in 1 year. Come on.
Yes.
Totally recharged by the return of
Jean Frusciante,
who is one of the greats.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Hey, in other format news, Margo Price, who I love.
I know you.
I think one of the great,
if you've watched any episode of this,
great new voices in country music, and she's the real deal. You're going to be hearing more about her. She already sells a bunch of records, but and she was very kind enough to sign our copies of the book. What's that quote from
Willie Nelson? Margo's book hits you right in the gut and the heart, just like her songs. So we will be having a regular book club feature now in season 3.
Sweet.
This is really cool, though.
Yeah,
I love this.
And she has a crushingly heartbreaking personal story.
And it doesn't hurt. And it doesn't hurt that very nice quotes from your friends Lucinda Williams and Valerie June.
It works.
That is
it
awesome.
Works.
That's fantastic. All right, so we teased Marcus Mumford earlier. So Quinn actually told me that this might be happening, and then I get the text last Friday night, confirmed. So I got really excited because then he was kind enough to set up an interview with the label. And you could not be here for the signing. A little under the weather.
Be here a little under the weather.
A little bit under the weather, like under the weather. But anyway, so we're going to play a little bit here in just 1 second. Let me set this up for you. So obviously much has been written about this album already. It's one of the most critically acclaimed albums of the year. One of my favorite albums so far. Released, 2 months ago? I mean, it just came out.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's an amazing record. Obviously, it's him on his own, not with Mumford and Sons. So, and especially the first song, it got a lot of press, and a lot of people have written about it. He goes very, very deep in these themes everything from sexual assault that he suffered as a child to addiction and faith, renewing his faith. And the last song really connects with me. It's called How. So my question to him was, how did you decide that this would close the record? Check it out.
I'd started writing it a while beforehand and had in my head that it was going to be the last song on the record. But I was struggling with it, and then I saw Brandy Collar in Los Angeles, and she kind of put her arm around me and said, like, whatever it takes, dude, I'll help you get this thing done. And so we went to the studio right there, and then she helped me finish writing it, and we cut it that morning, and that's the version that's on the record. And it's just kind of lived like that since.
And I read it was right around 18 months to start to finish for the album. How do you know when a song is done?
That's a good question. I tried different songs and different iterations on this record, and it's just a gut feeling, I think. And I'm not sure that I'm ever right, but it'll do, So I don't really know. It's not really. I think it's just you follow your gut.
there's some amazing women
Yeah.
that show up to sing on this album.
Yeah.
How did Phoebe and Brandy and
Phoebe was Brandy, like I told you. We just bumped into each other in LA, and then how happened. Phoebe was working in the room next door at Sound City Studios, and we'd stayed in touch. And I told her I was going to be around, and we hung out a bit. I traded vocals with her because I sang on her Christmas song.
There you go. Just an awesome guy to spend a couple of minutes with. Also, and I did mention this, and we didn't have time to do the entire thing, but the last question that I asked him, I've been lucky enough to interview a lot of artists and actors and directors and musicians and blah, 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 blah. I said, you're the only artist I've ever interviewed that's actually met the Pope.
Oh, that is.
He had an audience.
Distinction.
Went to the Vatican. Had an audience with the Pope. When I was reading, I was doing a little homework to get ready for the interview, and I think they spent like 2 days in the Vatican. And I said, "What was that like?" And he gave an interesting answer, but at the end, he just said, "He's a wise man." There you go. Your interview with Marcus Mumford on The Drop. Hopefully, we'll be bringing you more interviews in the future.
We just had to kick off season 3 with
something
special,
big.
Special guest.
This dude. So that worked out really, really well. Next up, back to the list. Rocktober.
Rocktober is here, man.
Yes, it is.
Did you know that? And we've got some great records for Rocktober. There is. This has been inexplicably unavailable for a long time. You got Joni Mitchell, Blue, like one of her must-own records.
Oh my God. Season 3 is getting expensive already. Oh God. So 180 gram vinyl, obviously newly remastered by Bernie Grundman, under the supervision of Joni Mitchell, includes Carolina River and A Case of You.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
And then you got a couple of Cars classics, and these were, before Rick Ocasek passed, he had an opportunity. He basically remastered the albums himself for posterity, so these sound as good as they can. This is, second album, Candio, one of the greats on clear vinyl.
Oh my God.
And then, I love this record. This is the third record, the difficult third record, Panorama. It's got maybe my favorite song by them.
Let me guess it.
Touch and Go.
Oh, you've ruined it.
That's got my favorite guitar solo by Elliot Easton.
Yeah,
one of the most underrated.
And it's hard to
players.
pick a favorite solo from that dude.
Yeah.
Touch and Go is fantastic. I saw the show at the Summit.
Sweet.
It was the first Cars show that I got to see, and I was just blown away. Like my 16-year-old brain was just scrambled when I saw this. I love them so much.
And then last Rocktober title this
Oh
week,
my
which
God.
There's going to be more.
Oh my
But
God.
this is on white vinyl, available again. You have the Talking Heads, Remain in Light, a must-own record of Angular, New York, New Wave.
Come on,
There you
man.
go. That
So
is
listen.
Rocktober.
That is Rocktober. Once in a lifetime. Cross-eyed and Painless. Where's the track
It's easy
listing?
for you to
The
say.
Great Curve is just ridiculous. Born Under Punches. There isn't a bad song on here.
Right.
This is must have.
Yes. Go grab that one.
God, I love it.
All right, let's
I've
move
got
on
it
to
in a
the
couple
very popular reissue
Let's do
part
it.
of the program. Mac
Uh-oh.
DeMarco.
Here we
Mac
go.
DeMarco 2. This is his second record, obviously, called 2, and it's been repackaged for the 10th anniversary with the second LP. That's all the demos. Honestly, his demos of his albums seem to sell as well as the albums. For those of you who don't know, I kind of always feel like Mac DeMarco's like the indie rock Jimmy Buffett. It's like this kind of lazy,
Sure.
groovy,
Easy to get
hang
into.
out.
It's easy to get
Yeah.
into. It's accessible. He's an interesting cat.
He is
To me,
an
he's
odd
one of these
dude.
interesting dudes. Double vinyl collection. There you go. Demos, 8-page booklet. Lots of stuff in here, man.
liner notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He made some liner
Wrote
notes for
some
you.
liner notes for you.
Now these haven't been available in a while. It was available at a big box retailer for a while as a slimmed down version, but you got the really Pearl Jam's only best of compilation, Rearview Mirror. There's two different
Gosh.
2 LP sets. And there they are. One is kind of the more rockin', and one is the more kind of downbeat. Anybody that remembers this LP compilation, best-selling compilation, now available again on, I guess, 4 LPs if you bought both of them. But all the hits are there.
So wait a minute, is it a 1 and 2? What's the?
It's
or is this the
basically
same album?
one is one is up
Okay, I
and
got it.
one is down.
So
I'm guessing the up one is the
so you-
rock and one is down one's kind of chill.
see this? That's cool.
Yeah, that 2 CD set was like one of the best, perennial.
So I need
Record
to
store
I need to
titles.
investigate because I need to find out. So I know Josh Klinghoffer is a touring member of the band
Right.
because I don't know that Stone Gossard left officially the band, but he's definitely not touring. McCready is,
Oh,
but Stone Gossard, their other guitar player, is not. Which every time I remember that, I'm like, I need to like really do a little research and find out. I'm just curious, why he's not. Sorry.
I mean, it's hard to grind it
Sidebar.
out. These guys just
Sidebar.
grind it out for. I mean, it's hard to say, hey,
They're a
I'm gonna be
corporation.
gone
They're a
for 2
corporation at
years.
this point.
Bye, family. I'll see you in 2
Yeah,
years.
we're gone. Well, yeah.
Flying out.
Yeah.
Okay, 10th anniversary of My Head is an Animal by of Monsters and Men. Now, I mean, this
10 years,
could,
man.
it's wild. This is
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. My son loved the couple of tracks from this record. I mean, you could not get away from that Dirty
It's
Paws
huge.
tune.
Huge,
Great
huge,
vocals,
huge,
really
huge.
upbeat, buoyant pop music. So this is the version for the 10th anniversary, finally released in the States. This is the version that was only released in Iceland. That has four different LP tracks because they're an Icelandic band.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, two never before heard songs.
I thought they
Phantom
were
and
British.
Sugar in a Bowl. Well, yeah.
God, you need a better co-host. This is going in the wrong
You're
direction.
going to catch up at some time.
Good
Season
Lord.
5.
Season 5. I'm going to be dialed in. I'll be dialed in. Jeez.
Okay, the last of our reissues we're going to talk about is Tom Waits.
Brilliant album.
Two albums that were released at once.
Oh,
were,
okay, yeah.
Were Alice and Blood Money.
Right. Okay.
And we're just going to show you out. This is in 2002. And you kind of love it when artists delivers like 1-2 punch of 2 albums at the same time.
Do you know what's I've always been super curious about Tom Waits is, and I go down these like YouTube rabbit holes on the
Sure.
weekend. Like I'm
Easy to do.
listening to music until like 1 o'clock in the morning and just looking up stuff and finding stuff. And at least, and I've never seen him perform live, but when I see live videos from concerts or theater shows or festivals, whenever he comes out on stage over the years, it seems to me there's a very distinct difference in his voice from the recorded Tom Waits to live Tom Waits.
Well, yeah.
Live, he feels darker and raspier than he does on record.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just the studio
he's had such a
environment.
weird evolution as a vocalist
Yeah,
anyway, because
yeah.
he's like a Tin Pan Alley kind of crooner guy.
Yeah.
This still had, kind of a growly aspect to it, but now it's like a Cookie
I think
Monster or
for me, it's like I remember buying Swordfish trombones,
something. Oh yeah.
and that just like blew my head off my shoulders. I was like, "What is this?
When I
And
bought Rain
why do I love it
Dogs-
so much?"
When I bought Rain Dogs, I bought it because Keith Richards was on it, and
that's
and
right.
I heard that track, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I bought that record. To that point, that was the weirdest record I had bought.
Well-
and now all his work after that makes that sound like Manavani or something.
I got turned on to him because a friend of mine worked at the I want to say she worked at the River Oaks Theater, which back in the 80s was very art house
Absolutely.
kind of old theater, and Down by Law was showing,
Oh yeah, I saw
and
that there. I saw that there.
Jim Jarmusch, right?
Yeah,
And I had seen something else by him, and I was like, I'm gonna check this out. I was feeling like, got to see a cool art house flick. And I remember go see it, and I believe, unless I'm wrong, it opens with Jockey Full of Bourbon.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And it's in that New Orleans and like that one part of town where like it's just kind of like decay and and abandoned cars, and it's that long sweep, and it's all in black and white.
Yeah.
It was John Lurie, Roberto Benigni,
Yes.
and Tom Waits.
Yeah.
In the movie. It's a brilliant movie. If you've never seen it, it's so good. But that song just haunted me until I figured out who it was.
Yeah. Great tune.
Yeah.
And so, both these records available. Limited edition colored vinyl. One is silver. One
Get
is
it.
white. This
Get
one's
it.
metallic silver.
Buy it.
And great records from Tom. And I think that rounds us out.
We didn't mention did we?
Oh.
You have signed copies
We
of
have
Marcus.
We have CDs and LPs.
Yes,
I mean, whenever we have an artist in, we always ask them to sign our remainder stock because not everybody can get here, especially when we announce something just a few days in advance. So you can pick up your autographed copy of Marcus Mumford's self-titled album on CD or indie store exclusive red vinyl here at Cactus while they last.
So I bought mine and got it signed.
Sweet
And it says,
fanboy.
it says to Ruben, love Marcus.
Sweet. It makes it.
I was a prince. I'm telling you, he was amazing.
It's funny at in-stores because I'll ask people, do you want your autograph personalized? And some people are like, I don't know. And some people are like, well, should I? It's like, don't you want it? When somebody sees it, to make it seem like you guys were just hanging out.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I had to learn from the staff here how that is actually handled. But it was really funny because a couple of people had multiple records.
Sure.
And they were like, "Oh, so this is to my brother. It's his anniversary, and him and his wife, and this is for my little brother." And so she had like 3 records to sign for like different family members.
And I saw one girl had. It's probably the girl that traveled. She had like the satin tour jacket.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The Mumford and Sons like satin tour jacket from like back in the day.
This young lady drove in from Denver to see him at Austin City Limits, which was Sunday night. Then she caught the Monday night show here, and then she was driving back. There was another young man here that had seen him, I think him solo plus Mumford 9 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, he's one of the most important modern era roots music guys. I mean, put banjos on pop radio. Wow.
Absolutely. And I didn't ask the question, but he just brought it up at the end. I talked about touring this album, and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna finish this run. We tour through the end of the year." And he goes, "And yeah, then we're back in the studio to make another Mumford record." So he said it. There'd been some talk about whether or not there was going to be another record. All right, guys,
you heard it here first.
That,
on
of
the
course,
drop,
so
season 3.
This just came out of the gate, just right. All right, guys. So this is the deal. Next Thursday, 12:30, we do it again. It's called The Drop. You can also see it on the Fox 26 YouTube channel. Like it, share it, comment, do all of that business. I'm Ruben Dominguez. That's Quinn Bishop. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Talking about that.
Yeah, that's 100
per minute.